business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in Star Ledger in express times and submitted to Town Clerk, Town of Belvidere, January 10, 2019. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Blum? Mrs. Pepino? Here. Dr. Zeppa?
Here.
Mr. LeVar?
Here.
Mr. Lucas? Mr. Matlock?
Here.
Mr. McInerney?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell?
Here.
Mrs. Powell? Here. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mrs. Steffen? Here. Mrs. Williams? Here.
We reached the point in our agenda for our first public participation. Do we have any comments or questions from the public this evening? Yes, Reva.
Rita Snickle and Ann Rogers. We came to present you with your first bench for your open classroom outside. It is the Trex bench that you could go to Home Depot and buy for $539, but you're getting all of yours free. Ann will explain to you about the plastic, of how we collect it. You have a teacher here at school that's doing it. Loads of teachers are doing it all over town. And as I said, it's your first official bench.
Thank
You
you.
can tell them how they do.
So one of the residents of Belvidere is very into recycling more than most of us, and she found that Trex has a program where you can get these free benches. There is a school program, but it's very involved, and it's not like what we do, but you go on trex.com and navigate through and find out how you can be an organization to collect the soft film plastic, and you can get a free bench. $529 is what they cost. We have 11 boxes. When you register with Trex, you order how many collection boxes you want, anywhere from 3 to 10. And each organization that has registered, we've completed 3 so far. The 4th one is registered. You order anywhere from 3 to 10 boxes. So we ordered 10, being the first one, and the second organization ordered another one. So we have 11 boxes throughout the town, and they collect the soft film plastic. And what is the soft film plastic? It's the grocery bags that we need to get rid of, even using them, having them made. The wrapper that goes around, if you buy those awful bottles of water, the wrapper that goes around the case, large packages of toilet tissue, paper towels, that plastic, dry cleaner bags, if you have a pellet stove, those bags. If you're going to put them in any of the receptacles, please make sure that you shake all the dust that you can get out of them. If you don't, we have to. Okay? So we have 11 boxes around town, and they have to be picked up on a routine basis. And then you have to go through them to make sure there's no garbage in them, no paper in them. Some people will put, Food Mart is the notorious one because it sits outside all the time and it's down there at the corner. Sometimes I find a half-empty cup of coffee in there, you know. Everything has to be clean and dry. No frozen food bags. Bags of frozen peas, corn, etc. They have a chemical in them that for some reason Trex can't use in their making their composites for their deck boards and railings and outdoor furniture. So you collect your plastic and you have to weigh it and you deliver it to partner stores. And we've done all the legwork. We have 4 partner stores in the area that will accept the plastic. And you take them, not 500 pounds all at once, but you take them as you get your vehicle full or whatever. You have to call them and make an appointment. That's the tedious part. You have to call them and make an appointment when they've got an empty trailer that's going to be leaving the store. And then you take them. So 500 pounds in a 6-month period. how in the world are you going to collect 500 pounds in a 6-month period? When we started this, we registered the first one for June to December. We had 965 pounds collected by the middle of September. And I said, okay, well, I'm registering us now because we didn't know if you got 1,000 pounds if you got 2 benches. You don't. So I registered us to start the beginning of October, and by the second week of November, we had our 500 pounds. Actually, we had 945 pounds collected. And then Riva registered the Ambulance Corps Auxiliary, and they've got over 700 pounds that's been collected and delivered, okay? 4 weeks, okay? So right now, the Belvidere Environmental Commission is registered, and they are the next ones in line. The boxes are for everybody's use. Everybody takes their turn. As soon as the commission has theirs all, their number that they need, you need 500 pounds. But we've gone above it because the plastic just keeps coming. So then the next person that will register as soon as the Environmental Commission has theirs all collected, then the next one will take over. Whenever any organization collects it, you store the plastic until you are ready to take it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the tedious part is arranging with the partner store. And when you go online and navigate through the Trex recycling program, they list all 50 states and every store that partners with them. So there's a number in New Jersey. In our area, it's fewer because there's a couple stores that are in South Jersey that are not here. But Kohl's seems to be nationwide. And so it's 2 Kohl's, Acme, and we registered with Weiss. We got Weiss up in Penn Argyl, but it was convenient at the time. And we're working on Weiss in Hackettstown. So we do have 4 stores on board. Okay, so we're hoping that different organizations, different groups in the school will register. The Lions Club's going to be in the spring. But this was the second bench that came. You get your color choice of 4 different ones. The 2 that we have, Riva's will be coming soon for the auxiliary. The 2 that we have, we ordered that color. And I just heard about the outdoor classroom because my kids have been out of school forever. Nobody knows, you guys don't even know where I live. Well, some of you do. But I have no involvement with the school anymore because my kids are not here. But I just heard about the classroom, and we said, why can't we supply or help supply the benches that are needed for that outdoor classroom, which will be a great, great thing. So anybody have any
Terrific.
questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
I come with a different cap on now. Y'all know the Friday luncheon is my thing. We've had the kids down again this year. Some of them are more adorable than others. Last Friday we had little builders clubs, and I know if you people would have listened a little, you'd have heard them singing up here at the school. They're in there doing dishes, singing their little hearts out. They are fantastic. And it's thank you to the teachers because I know it's their time that they take to do, because when these kids come, they always come with a present for the people or songs to sing or something. So I just want to tell you how wonderful that is, and we're still waiting, Glenn, for you to manage. Glenn's been scheduled 3 times and hasn't made it yet. And I'd love to see some of the rest of you that haven't been there. Come down and see what it is. And just an FYI for you guys, Kristen Kane has signed up the National Junior Honor Society for a bench. So you will be getting a second one. She's going to be in touch with, I think it's Carolee Gately, that basically set up the outside and figure out how many benches you need, because we have plenty of organizations in the school to get the number of benches you need.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I have one more thing to say. There is a box someplace in Oxford Street School. Mrs. Mrs. Hinckley, Darcy Hinckley? Oh, okay. See how much I know about the school system anymore. But there is one here. That's one of the 11 that's
Perfect.
been collecting. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Other questions or comments from the public? Correspondence? No? Superintendent's report.
Okay, as you can see on your agenda, we were supposed to have the cast members of James and the Giant Peach, should say junior, here tonight, but with the weather, Miss Kirkpath decided that she would hold off till the 27th. They weren't sure they'd have access to their costumes and things of that nature, so we went back and forth this afternoon. So she felt better about coming on the 27th, so we'll get to see a preview of that. It's a good segue into the weather issues we've been having of late. Just in one of the other committees before, I said, it's interesting, we haven't had more than 4 inches of snow, but we've had 5 days of snow days already. It's just been one of those odd weather years so far. This morning, the big issue was the icing and how long it was going to take to clear up. So we're going to always try to err on the side of caution rather than put anybody in harm's way. So we are going to open on Monday on President's Day to make up a day. That will bring us back to even with our snow days, and then we'll just hopefully not have to have this conversation again until sometime next year. But every time I say that, we seem to get more snow days. So I appreciate the maintenance crew coming in on all these days and getting the buildings ready. And I know Jimmy and John and Kevin and Alex and all the guys, they just do an awesome job, and we wouldn't be ready to go without them. So I do appreciate what they do. So thanks to those guys. Mr. Blum had asked me at the last meeting, and I'll have it ready for the 27th, about according there's a policy that I should be reporting out on staff attendance at every once a month meeting. We were going to have that ready for tonight, but obviously since we haven't been in the office for 2 days, wasn't prepared. So we will do that on the 27th. I did mention in my weekly update, and I'll mention it publicly, Quinn Malofchek setting the school record for most wins by a wrestler. I am personally impressed with that. I've been associated with Belvidere for 9 years, and even just the talent of wrestlers that have come through in the 9 years that I've been here, to hold the school record here and be the all-time county cedar leader, I think is a special honor, and Quinn has done an awesome job. I know he's got an outside shot at the county record, but I'm sure with the weather and cancellations, it's probably going to be close for him, but he's represented Belvidere well for 4 years. He's going to be moving on to the Air Force Academy next year, and just a congratulations to him. My last 2 things to talk about are going to be related to the budget and the finance. I do want to start talking about them publicly. The first thing will be the concept of child study team consolidation. We've talked about that at committee level. I think it's one of the not so quiet secrets around the clusters, but we are going to move forward with the concept of a cluster-wide child study team, which will be housed by Belvidere. And in fact, on the 27th, I'll be asking for the approval of the Director of Child Study Team position. I did give everybody a copy of that at the last meeting, so if you don't have a copy, let me know, and I'll shoot you. It'll also be in your packet next time. The idea is we'll start with the Director position, and then we'll begin the consolidation process with that. And the idea will be hopefully by April 1st or thereabouts, the Director will be in place, and then we'll look at who's not going to be on the team, who's going to be remaining, and how the consolidation will take place. We do estimate somewhere in the savings, conservatively, of about $70,000 for the district. Some of the other districts will make out better, but overall, I think everybody is finally on board, and it's our first step in the consolidation process. So we will begin to talk about that. There is, I'll get more information out to you, but I did have a timeline that I sent out about a month ago, so we're hitting those timelines. And the second thing is in your black folders, the idea of finally, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, I think, in a lot of ways, shutting down 3rd Street. So you see where the process is with that. We certainly talked about that just a few minutes ago in the Finance Committee. We've talked about it in curriculum probably since the beginning of the school year. And we think we have a plan in place to shut down 3rd Street, to move the students up here to Oxford Street. We have the room. There'll be some movement out of the high school as far as some of the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade classes will come up here. But you can see all of that. And again, we'll be looking to possibly take action on that on the 27th, just to get the process moving. But I think that's also the second worst kept secret in town, that we have had that. We figured we'd start talking about it publicly.
Okay.
With that, if there's any questions or concerns, especially when it comes to weather, please make sure people direct them towards me. Again, it's just been one of those odd winters, and hopefully we finally move past it. And that's all I have.
Questions for Chris?
But I do
Marion?
request, I was supposed to be here, but I did request that we set up a curriculum committee. I do have concerns until we have actual studies of how many students we're looking at taking into this proposed development of closing Third Street. So I'm not saying we shouldn't, I'm not saying we should, I'm saying I think we need to discuss it a little further.
Yeah, so I know you had sent an email, and I think I responded to Tad's email, one of the two.
And like I said, I
Yeah.
wasn't here because I wasn't supposed to be
Yeah,
here.
my suggestion is we have a curriculum meeting next Wednesday,
Okay.
maybe 6 o'clock. We'll just check with the committee members tonight before we all break away, because I understand your point. Certainly understand that point, and it would be something to bring up in the discussion.
Okay.
Anything else? Give me a motion and a second on personnel items 1 through 5.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
I know there might have been some question about, I think the sidebar. I know I had at least 2 members reach out to me just to talk about approve the sidebar agreement. I met with Ms. Black last Tuesday, I think it was, and we talked about some of the grievances. And this was, we have, at the moment we have a phys ed teacher who's out on suspension, and we needed to make sure that those classes were being taught. So the sidebar has to deal with specifically with those teachers, and then you can see the daily rate that's in number 2. So, and then I should probably just mention, we did have a conversation about some of the outstanding grievances, and Judy, correct me if I'm wrong, we came to agreement on all of the issues that were still out there. So this was the one sidebar that needed to be approved.
That's good. Any questions? Roll call?
Mrs. Bukino? Yes. Dr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. LeBeau?
Yes.
Mr. Metlock?
Yes.
Mr. McInerney?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Stefan?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Under education, and we actually have an add-on which is not included in your material. So it would be on agenda items 6, 7, and 7A. And 7A is to approve a regular preschool program for the 2019-20 school year in accordance with the approved application to the New Jersey Department of Education, Division of Early Childhood Education.
Motion.
Discussion. The only thing I'd like to add is that I think I speak probably for the entire board, is that we're really pleased about that we're doing the preschool program. Big investment of time in terms of things needed to come together very quickly, but it certainly is something that will be it's positive for the district, positive for our families, and certainly is going to have an impact on early learners. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Under business, can we get a motion and a second on items 8 through 11?
Motion. Second.
Discussion?
Nice oil,
Yeah,
as usual.
yeah. Good job, Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Continuing business, the 19-20 budget. Shelley, do you want to start this discussion, or how do you want to proceed?
Then,
Or
we didn't actually talk about that, right, at the end of our meeting.
no, no. Doc, do you want to start,
You're the
or
finance chair.
would you prefer Shelley?
I'm gonna let Shelley.
Okay.
This is the first I had a chance to see it.
Sure,
Okay.
that's fine.
The finance committee just had a pretty good meeting on the first draft balanced budget. We went over that we are in a very good position, probably the best position we've been in the 10 years that I've been here. And that's because of, well, we decided there were 5 initiatives that are going on. In past years, we've been asked to carefully look at everything, and we feel like we do, but this year, even more so, there's been some big changes put on the table. Chris just mentioned 2 of them, one being the child study team sharing across the cluster, the second one being the closure of 3rd Street. The third one we also just discussed was the preschool program. As part of the state funding for the preschool program, that funds some of the positions partially that are in place already in the district, so that helps our budget. The fourth one that we've talked about several times here at the board level is the change in the insurance carrier for medical. Has given us savings that has helped us along the way in balancing this budget. And fifth one is every year tuition from the sending districts is trued up on a 2-year lag. Some years we pay out, some years the other schools have to pay into us. This happens to be a year that the other schools owe us money, so our tuition is going up. The main reason for that was in 17-18 we had a lower amount of students estimated than we actually received more. So we had some tuition need to be paid in by districts. And probably the biggest thing was that we did the HVAC in the high school out of our capital reserve, and that hits tuition when it's actually expended. So that hit the 17-18 tuition. So there's a fairly good adjustment that's owed back to us from each of the sending districts for 17-18. So with those 5 things combined, we are in a very solid place with our budget. We are not asking for any type of tax increase at this time from the committee, nor am I recommending that. And the other piece, though, I do want to mention is that even though we're in a good budget position, doesn't mean that there aren't some changes that need to be made in the high school, and that is because we are extremely conscientious about the high school tuition rate and how that affects the sending districts. So we can't take all the money from those 5 initiatives and say, let's spend it in 1 year, because that will drive our tuition up even more. And that's a hard hit for the schools that send their students to us. And we can't have a school without them, so we really want to be careful with that. So we're looking to try to keep that money in our fund balance the best we can to try to help the budgets going forward. But there are a few changes in the high school that we are still looking to make. Because our enrollment, again, is decreasing in high school, it does force some change. So that's the overall. Did I miss anything?
No.
Anyone else was there?
That's pretty good summation, I think. Can you, Shelley, I didn't bring with me, I apologize, but timeline, can you just kind of go over next steps?
Right. Probably the Finance Committee will meet again before the February 27th meeting, just to kind of review any changes between now and then, but also, what we discussed tonight was quite a lot to take on. We do have two new members of the Finance Committee that I'm sure their heads are probably spinning a bit. And then at our March, I want to say it's March 13th, I could be off a little bit, but that mid-March meeting is when we'll be approving the preliminary budget.
I think you're right.
The budget will then go to the county, and then it's not until the beginning of May that we will have our public presentation and vote on a final budget.
Any questions for Shelley? Marion? No?
Everything looks amazing.
Not at this time.
You
We
have
worked hard for that, Marianne.
Marianne, you usually have a 2-question minimum.
I know. Well, we have the whole 3rd Street thing hanging, so.
Right.
So you're, absolutely. I will put, for the February 27th meeting, I will put out the full budget packet to the whole board so that you all can have a copy of that.
Maybe I need to just one. When you put that out, so can you just throw dollars on these, like 5 items you mentioned, what the proposed savings is for each of these 5 items? I know it's gonna be a ballpark number.
Can do.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Anything else?
Yeah, Mary Ann reminded me of something that has been, and I think I brought it up before. When the public hearing is presented with the slideshow, can you get the slideshow to us in advance? Because what I had a problem with was Mary Ann last year trying to play catch-up ball. I think if you had the stuff in advance, it might have been a little more helpful for
Yeah.
you. So if you can put the PowerPoint together and get it to us.
As long as everybody understands, I'm going to send it to you through a Google format.
I can do that now. I'm doing very well with that.
And the answer is yes. Yes, we will
Thank
be
you.
happy to do that.
Thanks.
Good idea. Anything else? Any other questions? Do you have anything on the foundation?
Actually, I do.
This is the foundation.
Foundation discussion. At the last meeting, Mr. Blum gave me a lot of stuff at the last meeting. He's not here today for a follow-up, which is too bad. He asked me to reach out specifically to the Sparta Education Foundation. And I told him, I said it's actually appropriate because I've worked in Sparta for a couple years, so I knew it. Interesting thing is that I found out, and I shared this with him, didn't get feedback, was the Sparta Education Foundation, which Mr. Blum pointed out has raised over $1.6 million over the last 10 years for the schools. It's completely run out of the district by no administration, no board members. It's run all by alumni or townspeople. So I kind of took a really good look at the model, and I'd like to have a further conversation if that's a model that we might be interested in pursuing. We certainly have some funding to start it, but the way they have it set up probably breeds success more so than another thing on our plate that we, and I think Chris would agree with, we try our best to get to it, but everything else pops up and then it certainly gets pushed to the side.
Can you put that out to the alumni somehow? Because I think I might know one or two that might actually be interested in that.
That's a great idea, just figuring out how to reach
Similar
out to them.
Knowlton Township.
Yeah.
Has theirs.
Knowlton's structured that way too?
One board candidate that interviewed last time, wasn't that one of those things, more philanthropic?
Very, very good idea.
Yeah.
So I think that might be, gave some good direction to go on, you know, and then listed a lot of things that they do.
As long as we have the horses to actually do it, because
That's true.
things that are, when something's based upon volunteers, sometimes they start out really, with a flash and then fizzle.
I agree. It's worth a discussion, I think, maybe back into curriculum.
Yeah, okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Yeah. New business? Any new business? Public participation, we have our second public participation. Any comments or questions from the public? Are we just doing HIB only in exec, or are we not doing personnel or negotiations?
I just would, if you want to say negotiations, just we can do a quick
Okay,
update.
okay. Do we have a motion and a second to go into executive session to discuss negotiations and a HIB?
Motion. Second.
It is hereby resolved the board will now go into private session to discuss a HIB finding and negotiations. Any discussion held by the board which not need to remain confidential will be made public as soon as practicable. Minutes of the private session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session at the conclusion of the closed session, and we anticipate we will be taking action. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the HIB findings?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
You can have it.
Have a good evening, everyone.
I mean, if you don't have any specific